I want to give all praises unto Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, RAWCHAA, QADASH. Yahawah been the true name of the Heavenly Father. YAHAWASHI been the true name of His only begotten Son, whom the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. Also want to give double honors unto the apostles, elders, and bishops of Great Millstone. Blessings and salutation unto the elect of YAHAWAH, which consists of the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. And blessings and salutation unto the hopeful elect, the Akim out there enduring His truth across the four corners of the earth, teaching and preaching on the highways and byways through the spirit of YAHAWASHAM, YAHAWASHI in truth and sincerity, as well as the men and women that follow, and those who might look like the other nations but are of the nation of Israel on their father's side by blood. And I wanted to get into a quick lesson dealing with the origins of the phrase "it takes a village," to raise a child. And upon the research that I could get a hold of, a lot of it says it's of African origin. All right. Even right here, you can see it says possibly even Native Americans. But it's also amongst, the West Africans. All right. So this is an article I found, or a web page rather, that I found. I would have to, do further research dealing with the origins, as far as, get into some books and things. But right here, it says the proverb "it takes a village to raise a child" is attributed to the Igbo and the Yoruba people of Nigeria. It was famously used by Hillary Clinton as the title of her book, "It Takes a Village and Other Lessons Children Teach Us." It basically means that an entire community is responsible for the upbringing of children. Not only should parents be involved in child rearing, but also extended family, friends, and anyone else who believes in the unity of society. And as brothers, around my age or even older, of course, and probably attest, growing up, you got in trouble by one parent, you got in trouble by both. If you got in trouble at your aunt's, you got in trouble with your aunt and your uncle, and then both parents or your grandma. Everybody was pretty much involved. And, that's, as you can see, where that type of culture has faded out into where you have, a lot of disrespectful and, little monsters in a sense. A lot of the children nowadays, they think they are grown. Here it is, they'll be living under their parent roof and dealing, depending on their parent. But here it is, they would be rebellious to their parents, which the scriptures speak a little bit about. And it makes sense, because when you're a child, the things you're taught, you'll keep that as you get older. Some things you might find along the way on your own, or, realize you don't need to partake in certain things on your own. But that's why it's important for the upbringing of children, so they can know how to carry themselves, especially if they're seeing it everywhere, opposed to just certain things done in the household. And that's what how I like to look at it as, is everybody, it's no longer a village raising the children. It's everybody in their individual hut, for lack of better words, teaching their child how they want them to be. And then they let them outside of this hut, and then they go into the community, and everybody's been pretty much taught different ways, some similar, but but most different. And it just lacks the knowledge, the wisdom, understanding, the ethics, the morals. And they release them out into society, and these children it's hard for them to cooperate. It's hard for them to show love. It's hard for them to be humble. It's hard for them to swallow their pride. All right. But getting into the ego and the Yoruba just real quick, it says absolutely, studies show they have the same ancestor as the Igbo, who are descendants of the ancient Israelites, which this brother here, the elder brother Kazak down in Mississippi, I don't think it's on this page. He got a few pages, but he actually got a book that he went into, in a couple documents, as amongst other brothers as well, but him I know in particular, dealing with some of the West African cultures and how they, go back to the origins of the Israelites. All right. Even within this video, he's showing the alphabet of the alphabet of the Yoruba tribe. All right. And how similar it is compared to, the ancient Hebrew alphabet. All right, which there are a lot of similarities, but of course, amongst down the lines, amongst generation, things are going to change. It's just like the game telephone. You'll start a message, and by the time you get to the last person, it's similar to where it started out, but it's just a little bit different. As well as some of the culture that we keep. And it's also by the spirit that YAHAWASHI has put in us, man. Okay. Overall, we are a compassionate, people. All right. We seek after a higher power. We seek to serve. It's just we get lost on the journey unto who to do it to and who to do it with. And what I mean by that is we'll seek a higher power. Some of our people believe in God. Some of our people believe in, the people they idolize. Some of our people believe in themselves in a sense. All right. But it's not really common for, majority of our people, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, to be atheists. That's something that was brought up by the Edomites and something that our people took custom of. I mean, look, as soon as we came out of Egypt, they're like, well, we can't see. We can't, Moses is going up on a mountain, this and that. We need something that we can see. We need something. So that's what causes our people to cling on to things that they can see, things that they can believe in. We didn't grow up, far as going back to us being Israelites, we didn't have Christmas and Easter and Valentine's Day and all of these things, man. That's something that our people learn from the heathen, and they keep it now because we've lost that way as a people. The Lord said he will discontinue us from our heritage, right? Let's get that real quick. Jeremiah 17:4 says, and thou even thyself shalt discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee, and I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not, for ye have kindled a fire in my anger, which shall burn forever. And it doesn't mean forever and ever in eternity, just for a period of an extended period of time. All right, because when you go, dealing within this, like you said, and part of that was our people serving these other gods, seeking after these other nations, wanting to be like these other nations. Okay, but it would make sense that West Africans will have similar culture because that's where the bulk of the slaves come from, and that's where Israelites, fled into Africa, leaving a Roman persecution. All right. So let me see if that was it on that. It says, and are also genetically connected to the Lingba, who are also the descendants of the ancient Israelites. It is also believed that the Yoruba and Igbo probably were the same people who split apart. So, just wanted to kind of get that based off what I could find. Lord willing, I can, come across some books. I'll try to, I'll get in contact with that brother and, he could probably lead me in the right direction, most definitely. So yeah, we've been discontinued from our heritage, and I was going to start over there, but I want to start in Deuteronomy chapter 4. Let me make this a little bigger. Deuteronomy 4 and 5. It says, behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments, even as the Lord my power commanded me, that you should do in the land whither ye go to possess it. Keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations, which shall hear all these statutes and say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people. And that's why even in this present day, through the spirit of YAHAWASHI, the way we carry ourselves, people can see and and feel the energy within it, or it's just completely foreign to them, and they'll, kind of reject it or look at it a little crazy. But people who expect us to be a certain way, and then they see the way we carry ourselves, they can tell something is different based off of your average so-called black or so-called native or so-called Hispanic or Latin, Latino. Verse 7, it says, for what nation is there so great, who hath the Most High so nigh unto them, as Yahawah our power is in all things that we call upon for him? And what nation is there so great, that has statutes and judgments so righteous as all this law which I set before you this day? And that's why once this kingdom is taken out, Esau is the end of the world. Esau, the so-called white man, and Jacob is it that following, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, the Israelites. All right. We'll be joint heirs with Yahawashi in the kingdom to come. And the whole world will be governed by us and governed by the laws, statutes, and commandments that we were given. Okay, it's not going to be given any rights to the happy people, man, the prideful people, if you know what I mean. It's not going to be making unrighteous decrees and overbearing taxes and ill-gotten gains, and all of that is going to be done away with, because the law, statutes, commandments that we've been given, all right, are from the highest power. Okay, reason being, so we could be a holy people. All right, but over time, things got corrupted. All right, and that's why we're under grace at this point and headed towards a new covenant where it's going to be written within our inward parts. Okay, so we won't have to discontinue from our heritage by idolizing or serving these other idols, or or idolizing the heathen. All right, we won't have to go back into bondage or slavery under other nations. Okay, due to us going against our own power. All right, we won't have to do those things, man, because we're going to have the law written within our inward part, within our DNA. It's just going to be our nature. All right, not the thing like, oh, should I do this? Should I do all that? No, it's going to be us. And then when we're perfect, which it'll make us perfect, we're going to teach it to the rest of the world, because they don't have the spirit that we have, but they will have and learn our ways that was given unto us, man. All right. It says, I'm going to read 8 again. It says, and what nation is there so great, that has statutes and judgments so righteous as all this law which I set before you this day? Only take heed to thyself and keep thy soul diligently, lest thou forget the things which thine eyes have seen, and lest they depart from the heart all the days of thy life. And that's what it is. We read about what happened to us in history, all right, but we didn't see it. Okay, but that's why all of this was written down. So the things that was written aforetime was written for our learning. Okay, Romans 12:4, I believe. Let's double check. We'll get it. Nah, it's not 12. What is it? Is it 16:4? That ain't spelled right. 15 and 4. All right. This is Romans chapter 15, verse 4. It says, whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope. And that's what it brings. It gives us comfort. It gives us hope. All right. And it even gives us patience to the fact that we know the Lord is coming back, but this keeps us comfortable. All right. While the Lord is on the way back, on his way back, while we are fighting this flesh against this flesh on a daily basis. All right. Against in this spiritual battle against, principalities and wickedness in high places. Okay, so we read these scriptures and like, oh, okay, yeah, I see how this person handled this. This is not this situation, that situation. All right, and it allow us to what not not forget those things that we have seen or more so read about. All right, but in talking to them in these times, they just came out of Egypt. All right, the Lord saved them from the servitude in Egypt in a miraculous fashion, man. Okay? With beautiful wonders. Splitting the sea so they could cross and then swallowing up the Egyptians. All right? Sending them food when they was hungry. Making, well, I don't know if it was at this point, but just speaking on the things we read about, making bitter water into sweet water. All right? That they may drink. Okay? I'm going to read this one again. It says, only take heed to thyself and keep thy soul diligently, lest thou forget the things which thine eyes have seen, and lest they depart from thy heart all the days of thy life. So if you continuously do these things, you're not going to forget them. It'll be, second nature, so to speak. All right, it says, but teach them thy sons and thy sons' sons. That's the part that got lost over time with us losing our, being discontinued from our heritage. All right, we lost that, but some of the people throughout the world, okay, they still have some of those customs. All right, as you can see, like even within that, which I believe so, but it been, you know, 10 times out of 10 of the Yoruba and the Igbo origins, it goes to show you where it come back from. All right, it wasn't no everybody just doing what they want to do and your child just get released into to society however they are. No, we all had the same standard, man. Okay. This is Deuteronomy 28 and 18. It says, if a man have a stubborn and rebellious son, which will not obey the voice of his father or the voice of his mother, and that when they have chastened him will not hearken unto them, then shall his father and his mother lay hold on him and bring him out unto the elders of his city and unto the gate of his place. And they shall say unto the elders of his city, this our son is stubborn and rebellious. He will not obey our voice. He is a glutton and a drunkard. And all the men of the city shall stone him with stones, that he be deleted, that he die. I'm going to read it. So shalt thou put evil away from among you, and all Israel shall hear and fear. As the scriptures say, rebuke before all that others may fear. So if you had a stubborn child, a rebellious child, a knucklehead child, like, most children are today, due to the fact is that village is no longer raising the children, man. All right? Because parents now, and parents that are, just think of how the snowball effect happened, man. Okay? To the point where our parents, they had that structure a lot better than we had, So you got a lot of parents just trying to please their children. Okay, you got a lot of parents trying to make their children feel good um, instead of training them up, man. Okay, bringing them up or having them learn how to carry themselves, whether they're in public or in private. Okay. But it's so hard now because you got this technology that has been continuously advanced. Okay. You got more and more distractions throughout the world. Hell, you got, porn everywhere. You got the happy people everywhere. All right, you got the parents who got to work, 2, 3 jobs for the most part, or doing 10 hour, 12-hour days, and we sending the kids to the school system to become fools of the system. All right, you just got a bunch of things, a bunch of variables and factors to the disobedience, all right, and to things being out of order, which is all part of our curses as well. Okay, it's definitely part of our curses, but hey, this is the consequences that we deal with, you know. But this is why the Lord has to judge this place. This is why judgment, that fire has to come, man. He did it before with water when things got too far out of hand. All right, and now this time is going to be by fire. All right. I got that twice. I do. It says, why is it? It's Proverbs 22:6. It says, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. Yeah, based off of how you've brought them up to be, based off the things that you've taught them and the morals and the ethics that you've given them. But even in these times, a lot of children, all right, and that's why, hey, really, ultimately, you do got to pray to YAHAWASHI as well, all right, that your child can continue in those ways, that your child can receive knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, okay, because it's like I said, it's so much out here, and the society empowering the kids, like they allow your child to just go and do uh, a drastic change, if you understand what I'm saying. Without the parent's consent, or the parent could possibly be punished if that child wants to make that decision and the parent don't like. This is my child, but a lot of people let that slide. All right, a lot of people just sitting there and everybody's in their own hut, man. Okay. Now, eventually, as the scriptures do speak of sedition among men, okay, so chaos will erupt with people somewhat coming together, all right, and not, and they're going to undermine the government. You've had, multiple protests and things of that in the past, everybody coming together, okay, but, for the most part, everybody is so busy and so much into the drama that entertainment brings. Here it is. Anytime something happens or somebody's in danger, getting hurt or is hurt, everybody would rather pull out their phones, man, and record it and post it and get views and get likes. All right. Scriptures don't speak shit about that. Okay. As far as that being a way of a successful life, or a way of, you know, an upbringing, all right, something that will, or I would say conducive to salvation. you know. Let me see. Yeah, this is the last one right here. All right, so this is Sirach, or Ecclesiasticus chapter 30, verse 1. It says, he that loveth his son causes him oft to feel the rod, that he may have joy of him in the end. And this applies, to um, 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 you know, women, and to just far as like teaching, women teaching their daughters, fathers teaching their sons, the parents teaching their children, all of that. Okay. And I actually, I deal with that. Me and the mother of my children, she has a certain way that she envisions the children. I had a certain way that envision, and it comes to the point where the children, they'll be confused. All right, because there's no consistency. Like I said, give thy soul diligently to it, lest thou forget. All right. So they kind of, back and forth, doing it this way, doing it that way. And it's like as they get older, they'll end up choosing whatever way is most comfortable, opposed to the way that they was brought between both parents. All right. But it says Ecclesiastes 30:1, he that loveth his son calleth him oft to feel the rod, that he may have joy of him in the end. He that chastiseth his son shall have joy in him, and shall rejoice of him among his acquaintances. He that teacheth his son grieveth the enemy, and before his friends he shall rejoice of him. Yeah, you're not going to be like, you ain't going to have to constantly be hearing about or telling about your child being disobedient and disrespectful. Okay? It says, though his father die, yet he is as though he were not dead, for he hath left one behind him that is like himself. While he lived, he saw rejoice in him, and when he died, he was not sorrowful. He left behind him an avenger against his enemies, and one that shall requite kindness to his friends. He that maketh too much of his son shall bind Salakia. He that maketh too much of his son shall bind up his wounds, and his bowels will be troubled at every cry. All right. And horse not broken becometh headstrong, and a child left to himself will be willful, and that's why it's important to interact with children. But nowadays, you'll have children and parents in separate rooms, and parents is on, they own electronics, and the child is on electronics, instead of really having that bonding time. Even me with my household, I try to keep that to a minimum. Keep that to a minimum, and interact with them, do things with them, go outside, go on bike rides, walks, whatever it is, because um, that's part of the social construct, or social destruct, really, of everybody kind of just being in their own world. All right. It says, verse 9, conquer thy child, and he shall make thee afraid. Play with him, and he will bring thee to heaviness. All right. So yeah, you gotta get on your children, man, when they messing up. You gotta steer them in the right direction. Laugh not with him, lest thou have sorrow with him, and lest thou gnash thy teeth in the end. Give him no liberty in his youth, and wink not at his follies. Yeah, let him know when he's wrong, when he messing up, when he tripping, when he bugging out. All right, let him know. But at the end of the day, um, uh, this is a way that we did as a community. Everybody being included within there. So it ain't no, I remember a while ago, a buddy of mine's, um, I don't know if it was a cover, a blanket, or something, or if maybe it was a shirt or a sweater. I can't even remember exactly the material. But on it, it said, if mom says no, I'll ask grandma. All right. But within this, village raising a child, it don't, if one say no, all say no. You know what I'm saying? That's just what it is. It ain't no, well, I'm gonna go to this person because I know they say yeah. And like, nah, then now you grow up and you feel entitled, man. Which most of these children do. They feel entitled. All right. They've been spoiled rotten and they feel entitled. And that's not gonna work in the real world. Okay, you're gonna go out in the real world, and you're gonna get slapped with reality, and then you ain't gonna know how to react, and then you're gonna end up in a situation to where um what did it say, uh lest thou have sorrow with him, and lest thou gnash at the teeth. Play with him, and he will, yeah, you will pretty much, you'll have heaviness because you didn't took too much time trying to have them be comfortable and feel good, that you forgot to discipline them, man. All right, and have them be disciplined. I would even say, as far as the choices that they make and dealing with reality, and all of that. And a lot of us, you know, a lot of that didn't really come about. I mean, you do have, ways that we've been taught and we teach It ain't like every lesson is like Bible, 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 Bible. It's just some things, our parents taught us, and they wasn't bringing us out the Bible, but they was steering us in a proper direction, So, but yeah, it takes a village to raise a child. All right, but within that village, everybody has to be on one accord. At the end of the day, it comes down with order. All right, it comes down with order, and that's why the whole world is going to be the village of Yahawah BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI, and everybody's going to be raised under one banner, one law, one limitation of one statute of limitation. All right, one law, man. Okay, which is the law, statutes, commandments of Yahshua that was given from the Heavenly Father Yahawah by BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI. Okay. Hey, so with that, Lord willing, you was edified, and Lord willing, we allowed to endure to the end. And once again, I want to give all praises unto Yahawah BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI BAHASHAM RAWCHAA QADASH. Shalom.